I think I was watching a VC talk earlier where they say opportunity like this normally happen every 14 years, and you will have 24 to 48 months time window to really define the next like Facebook, Google. For short term, the proprietary like open AI one still very clearly outperform the open source one. So if you're building AI apps, I actually think uh, try to build the community from day one is quite an important strategy that probably a lot of people might miss as well.
Hello everyone and namaste. This is your host Saurav Pathak, and in today's podcast our guest is Mr. Jason Zhou. Jason is a product designer and he built a lot of cool stuff around AI. In today's podcast we are going to have an insightful conversation with him where we are going to discuss on language models, artificial intelligence, and how the company who are looking to integrate AI into their current workforce can do that. So let's get started. So welcome Jason to our show and thank you for joining us here, and it's been a pleasure to have you on this show and talk on some of the amazing technologies that is going around the world across chat GPT and LLMs and the AI ecosystem.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks so much for having me here.
Yeah, perfect. So before we move ahead, Jason, can you just let us know our listeners a bit about yourself and how you got into this particular field and starting your own YouTube channel?
Yeah, definitely. So my name is Jason, and my background is actually not an engineer. I'm a product designer and product manager. But I got really interested into AI space about the beginning of this year, where ChatGPT all those things start booming. And so I set up a goal to like really want to start building side projects and learn about this AI space. That's where I decided to maybe I should start a YouTube channel because that's a great way for me to force me to continue to build out interesting projects and also articulate the learning side. That's how I get started. And so I started my YouTube channel called AI Jason, where I just continue sharing different AI projects I'm building, including so far since like I was trying to build a AI girlfriend. There was one period of time when I don't know if you heard of this one influencer called Head
Yes.
launched their AI girlfriend. And I tried it out and I realized it's actually pretty simple and straightforward to build when you think about it. It's just like grab the user's voice into text and then let GPT to generate text and put a text to voice model to the voice. So I try to build that up and then also made a video about how other people can build. That's one, but also like made a few others interesting projects like that.
Okay, so audience, if you are new on the show, please go to AI Jason. That's the name of the YouTube channel, and there's one amazing video I have seen of making an AI girlfriend. Okay, it has got a lot of cool comments, and the video is also is pretty amazing. Do go ahead and check out that video. It's pretty amazing, and that's thanks to all to Jason for making that wonderful video where you explained the tools that you have used. Okay, and also the use case of making that. I think a lot of people will try to make an AI girlfriend and try to make use of it in some different fields, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Perfect. So, Jason, I've seen on your description you are a product designer, right?
Yeah.
So, what actually motivated you to get into the field of AI, right? Because a lot of new things are buzzing up in the tech stack. Okay, so what actually motivated you to come into the AI ecosystem and start working on that and building the videos?
Yeah, so I think one thing is definitely like this technology is obviously one of the biggest one ever since I born. And my current I'm 29 year old, but previously when internet happened, I was like too young to participate this wave.
Mm-hmm.
But when this like AI thing became a very clear at the beginning of this wave, and normally I think I was watching a VC talk earlier where they say opportunity like this normally happen every 14 years, and you will have 24 to 48 months time window to really define the next like Facebook, Google. So that's gonna be really interesting. But on the other side, because of the chat GPT, the learning curve for me to get into this field became so low, like it's significantly lower than before. As I mentioned, I'm not a professional programmer, but I can just start learning Python and launching all those things from scratch very easily with ChatGPT. I can just start building out my ideas. Because previously I also have ideas, but very hard to execute because I don't have that knowledge. But now I have this idea, and I can just go to ChatGPT and say, I want to build an AI girlfriend. Or I can break down, at least I can break down the function list and then say, I want to build a function that can take a user's voice and render text, how I should
Hmm.
do it. And then it give me a structure and I can try it out. If I have some bugs and error, I can go back to ChatGPT and it will give me some additional instructions. So the learning curve to start building and getting to this industry gets significantly lower as well. These two things together, you just like really, you just get me really hooked into this space.
Yeah, definitely. I can't disagree with you. You know, like people have been working on AI for so many years. It's not something very new. But obviously, once ChatGPT came, the learning curve become very small, right? And people can directly go there and start and ask the queries, and it's going to give you a response. And based on that, you can definitely learn about so many things and start building your own AI, right? So talking about the current generation after ChatGPT came and the people who were working on AI from past, last 10 years, right? A lot of people have a lot of different views. Like AI is going to, it can be a boon, it can be a bane. Okay, there's this question remains a lot in this ecosystem, and people do share their feedback. So I want to ask you, Jason, that since you have been working in this field for quite some time, okay, what's your feedback, or you can say what's your thought on the AI, like taking into account the future, okay, whether it's going to take the jobs away from the people, or it's going to make the it's going to redefine the things, or it's going to simplify the things and make things more easier. So what's your thought on this particular AI and going forward in the future?
Yeah, so I think you touched a good point. Like previously, probably before GPT, AI almost feels like a toy to many companies. It like when you think about it, it probably makes sense because it takes if a company before GPT, if they want to adopt AI, they will need to have a whole team like AI
Mm,
engineer, uh, data scientist to actually build a very tiny feature, can do very
mm,
specific things.
mm,
And that's exactly how AI was developed before.
mm,
Previously, there will be in university there will be discipline. Someone just spent 10 years on computer vision, or someone will spend like 10 years on voice recognition or natural language processing. Each one of them are focused on a very specific use case, and the
mm,
knowledge between them are not really shared. Uh, and but what this change with large language model or GPT is that all of them kind of simplify to one model that it's just language, and the models try to predict language.
mm,
Um, and the concept is very simple: that you feed a huge amount of data to the machine, and the machine start understand the context around a specific word. So, like if someone said, "I want to eat hot," even though probably next word would be hot dog instead of hot
mm,
other stuff.
mm,
Um, and with this one, it's not just language, all the image or voice, all the other different type of data sets just become language as well. You can just
mm,
tokenize it. And what this means is all the all the learning accumulated is not like siloed like
mm,
before.
mm,
They start merging together, just a large language model. And so that's why you start seeing the speed of iteration became so fast, like no one else can predict before, because all those efforts start merging into the same model, large language model. uh, and I think if we follow the same thread of thought, that pace is going to continue and probably will even faster. uh, and as a result, I think, yeah, very obviously the large language model will be capable to do a lot of different things. So I think a lot of industry going to be disrupted for sure. But it's the same case as before. It will create new jobs, new opportunities, and it will take people away from the like repetitive task to focus on more high value tasks.
mm, mm. Yeah, yeah, right. There's one interesting point you touched about the language model, right? So I just want you, if you can simplify this thing, like what actually is AI, and because 1 or 2 years back people might not know a lot on language models, especially after like GPT came. Then there are main language models which came like Roberta and like Birch, okay, which by Google, okay. So I just want you know if you can simplify this thing, that what actually is AI and what part is the language model and how does it work?
Right. I might not be the expert to answer what is AI, but I can try to answer the perspective I have. So large language model, as I mentioned, they are before often the AI is have different disciplines, and no one actually know which path actually going to take us to the kind of general artificial intelligence. Um,
Mm-hmm.
what OpenAI was doing is they actually make a bet that this large language model is going to work, and they believe that the model is very similar to what I just described. We feed a bunch
Mm-hmm.
of data to the machine, and it
Mm-hmm.
start and let machine to understand relationship. How frequent when there's a word of A showing up, next will be B, right? So uh, this model they believe, and for many years it's very hard to tell whether that's the right model, because when you look at the like if the amount of data you feed in and the performance at very beginning, like the performance didn't really increase much as you feed more data. Just one at one point suddenly exploded. It's like you have this baby that you bring in one book, two book, it still don't understand anything. But once you bring in a whole library, it suddenly became Einstein and understand so many things and capable to do many things. And this is like no one can predict uh, this happen. So what this allow yeah. So in a nutshell, basically this technology now just feed a bunch of data and it will be able to generate content. Versus before that would be when you think about natural language processing as a
Mm-hmm.
similar one. Natural language processing didn't do the generation part. It do the part of try to understand the user intent. So it's used for optimize very specific use case like chatbot, for example. I think about bank
Mm-hmm.
chatbot. If someone go and ask when did the bank open, it will like try to extract, okay, this user's intent is opening hour of bank. And then it will trigger kind of workflow somewhere to like respond this data like 9 to 5. That's the open time. If it's outside this now knowledge base of the predefined intent, it didn't know how to respond. Versus large language model actually will be able to generate new stuff out of it. Um, and when you think about it, one key difference why this is very exciting to builders is because before GPT, all those AI models are very specific to mention. So from economic point of view, the part that really get AI advancement are use cases that actually have very clear financial return. So the part that actually used AI a lot is Google. They use AI to optimize the search results or search
Yes, right.
recommendation, right? Because that
Mm.
makes sense. Even 1%
Yes.
improvement error.
Mm.
But with large language model, it's capable to do many, many different jobs, which
Mm.
means there's a lot of long tail use case. The cost development to develop AI product in those long tail use case became viable.
Mm.
So this opened up huge design space for people to do automation and AI feature in multiple different use cases as well.
Mm. This one more thing, you know, question arise in this area, that the industry who are looking to, you know, integrate this thing into their current workspace, like they want to make use of this language models or build something on AI. There's a confusion that whether they should go and make use of any proprietary LLM like GPT, okay, and like OpenAI, okay, or they can make use of any open source LLM, okay. Recently, you have heard that there has been a leak from Google of a document, okay, and that document actually have shown where they have told that they cannot compete with open source LLM in the future if there's open source LLM, because the code is going to be open and people are going to, you know, customize a lot and try to build their own stuff. So when we talk about proprietary LLM and using open source LLM, what's your thought on that?
Yeah. So my just my view, I think for short term, the proprietary like OpenAI one still very clearly outperform the open source one. It will take a few
Mm-hmm.
some time for them to catch up. But I would imagine
Mm-hmm.
maybe in 5 years, the gap or difference will become smaller and smaller. But the real, from my point of view, the best practice for startup or company who are building AI now is you should go with a proprietary one, like the open AI one,
Open AI.
because cost is going to be much lower. If you try to build your own or even deploy it, you will need to have like the cost will be very high because you will need to have the machine to run those things. Uh, so the playbook I saw is they try to use OpenAI to very quickly start and build up use case. And from there, you have two paths. You can either use the data you collected to fine tune the model, which give you better and better results. And so you still have the moat of the results generated. Or if you want, you can like use open source model once they catch up as well. Uh, Yes, so that's kind of the difference. But on the other side, I would imagine the open source model have also uh, very specific target use case. So if you are enterprise or if you are use case that you actually need to deploy the large language model locally. So think about I was talking with the one company, they are building in-car entertainment system like car assistant, right? Uh, and for those use cases like that, you just can't use OpenAI because there's latency if you are sending OpenAI to get a response, and the car can be in some place where there's no internet access, and also security as well. So there are different use cases that enterprise need to use open source model to deploy by themselves or deploy on the local machine as well.
Yeah, that's a very useful insight for companies who are looking to either make use of proprietary LLM or open source LLM. So I think in the initial days when you want to have like a faster go to market strategy, like you want to go to market as fast as possible, you can make use of proprietary LLM in a short term. But over a long term, if you want to develop something which you think it can be very much specific to a use case, you may go ahead and try to make use of open source LLM for a long term perspective, right? Thank you for the insight. Okay.
Right.
Now, while building AI application, are there any legal point of view as well that one need to consider? Like, I read an article that a lot of AI based Chrome extensions have been developed. Okay, but a lot of flaws are there that some Chrome extensions are actually collecting user data as well, and I don't know how it got published on Google Chrome, but
Mm.
they are there. So just want to understand here that while building AI application, because the use case and the reach of AI is so huge, right? So are there any legal point of view one need to consider while building AI applications?
Uh, that part I don't have too much input to be honest. Saying it's totally
Maybe like
possible that sorry, go on.
maybe like because a lot of people do have some doubts on regarding the security or like malware functions regarding the AI extensions or the AI application, that AI can collect user data and it can pass on and do some, I don't know what it's going to do. Okay, so can there be some checks applied from the AI application, that or there can be some monitoring done for the AI application that it should not collect these data and use it for its own purpose?
Yeah, that's a good point. I think best practice definitely need to be implemented. Like currently, it's very possible if you're using a AI app as consumer, they will be collecting the data you send to them, and then might not be for their like own purpose, could be even for the purpose of improving the model as well, because you will need to see the pair between the input and the output, so they know how can I improve the prompt as well. So I definitely think it's possible they are collecting this information. I would imagine there will be best practice would be showing up to decide what type of data would be stored for sure.
Okay, okay. Thank you for the insight on this particular talk. And I think even from my end, like even like a lot of companies are trying to use a lot of AI tool to automate their process. Okay, either it's like like writing a blog or articles or making an image or Venn diagram, so all a lot of stuff. Okay, but I don't think hardly a company checks before using an AI application that what actually it's collecting, a user data it's collecting, right? So I think it becomes very important that before making an AI, okay, there should be something that what data that AI application is going to collect, so you can try to give some acceptance or reject that if you may want, okay, and then go ahead and make use of that particular application, right? Because you don't know, if some data gets passed on, so how that data can be used by any other company. And in terms of AI, it can be have a massive reach for a user data, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah. So coming to next question, are there any misconceptions you think about the AI ecosystem that you might have heard from people and you want to clarify here? Since you've been working a lot on AI, you have been going to a lot of conferences, maybe, or talking with the people and doing some discussions on AI. So, what have you observed any misconceptions about the AI ecosystem from anyone, and you want to clarify here so people can go ahead and try to make use of that?
Yeah, definitely. So one thing, so I received quite a bit of message from people who are building AI apps, try to ask like what kind of data they need to prepare to like fine tune the model, or and the misconcept probably pretty obvious is the quality of data is much more important than quantity. So if you are training a AI model, um, if you have like few thousands very handpicked few short examples, it will be way better results than a million like very low quality data. Um, that's kind of one thing I think if you're building AI apps, you can be aware of. Uh, and the second one probably is around I don't have conclusion. It's something I'm trying to contemplating. Every AI startup or builder will try to figure out what's kind of mode for AI companies. Because if everyone is using GPT, like there's no like how can you differentiate? I initially thought there's like no mode at all. It's only distribution or branding. But the more I start realize that if you are if you are the first, if especially if you're building vertical specific solution, like let's say you're targeting healthcare or game, you focus on specific use case. If you are the first to the market and try to build that and start getting the user data back, that's actually a very strong mode because you can use this data to fine tune, like what we mentioned before. You can use data to fine tune the model to making sure your results is better than the new company who tried to build. And then the question to the company is like, okay, which use case we need to dominate first to gather data, and then after, how can we build a strategy around it to making sure we continually owning this advantage in terms of data. So that's something I'm I'm still waiting for someone to like see play out the strategy, but like this in my mind, I think is one very strong mode for people to consider when you're building AI startups. Especially now is a time when everyone's just getting started, so there are a lot of opportunity to build a mode around data. And the third one probably something I observe myself. Um, for It's also related to data. For all the AI apps that became mega successful, the community is a huge part. Uh, because when you think about Midjourney, they are not the first one doing the text image generation, but they got very very big. And when you look at the experience, they actually don't even have the app initially. They just drive everyone to Discord, where people can like co-creating things together. And from this process, they build a huge amount of community to understand the use case, and also huge amount of data allow them to continue to improve the model. So if you're building AI apps, I actually think uh, try to build the community from day one is quite an important strategy that probably a lot of people might miss as well.
Mhm. Okay, okay. Now that's something amazing you have told that try to build up a community, okay, because that will really give access to a lot of people, and they can try to make use of the AI application. And once you have got a good community who can adopt the application, they can try to try to build a lot other use case using your AI application, right? And that's how you can promote your AI products among a large number of people. And that's a very interesting insight of building a community for your AI application.
Mm.
Coming back to like you being a 29-year-old right now, and you're working on AI, what message do you want to give for all the youngsters who are currently in colleges, okay, and who might not have a syllabus about the AI? But what message do you want to give to them who that is it the right time to get into this field and start working and build cool stuff, because that's what's going to be the future for the next 5-10 years.
Yeah, definitely. Like if you're in college, this is probably the closest time you will be to like Mark Zuckerberg. Like what Mark Zuckerberg, the opportunity he had is exactly the opportunity you have now. So if I'm in college, I would definitely start getting into the space. And honestly, like just start building. Because as we discussed before, the barrier to get into this industry is very low. And since everyone just start accumulating the knowledge, uh, you should just start. You will be the one, like if you start learning now, in a few 6 months or 12 months, you probably will be uh, learning a lot and kind of like semi-expert in this industry as well.
Okay. Like even Sam Altman has been recently in India a few days back, okay,
Oh, cool.
and there was a panel discussion going on, okay, and he mentioned one thing in the panel, that every company today should be an AI company, and they should work on AI, right? He specifically talk about that every company should do that, right?
Right.
So, what's your thought on that? Like every shell company should start going behind this process, or they can just continue going doing their own stuff only.
Uh, I think probably there are two aspects we can think about. One is once once if you are a company and your company has huge amount of data that you collect from customers. So think about a, I don't know, CRM or
Mm.
a digital checklist app. If
Mm.
you used to have a huge amount of data, and you can figure out ways to utilize those data now and provide
Mm.
probably 200% more value back to your customers. And this is just kind of no
Mm.
brainer. It will increase your customer retention, conversion, all those things. So that's definitely something a company should consider to set up to and make use of their existing data sets. And second one is uh, for the companies that if they're also another type of company that if they don't really get into AI, their business can really be in danger. Like the education, for example. I forgot the name of the company. It's called OGG or something. But if you think about AI tutoring, I think Sam also mentioned AI tutoring is a very
Mm.
clear opportunity that instead of you getting just people in the city have the luxury to access a top level education, now the education can be very accessible to everyone. Uh,
Mm.
and when you think about it, this is a real threat to all the online education. So if you're in those industries, that's actually a good thing. Like if you think about it, if you are in your industry, uh, try to make money from the knowledge that exists from a scarce knowledge or scarce resource like doctor or teacher. Now then that knowledge became so accessible, and companies in those industries will really need to think about how to adopt AI because it can kill their business can be wiped out if you don't get into. Uh,
Mm.
yeah, so I would say there are two type of company. Those companies really have to adopt versus other company that can probably double or triple their revenue or customer retentions by building AI feature well with their own data set.
Okay, so guys who are watching this episode, if you are working on like something like application like CRM, or like you have a big data set and you want to provide some automation on customer service, do try to get your hands dirty in AI, okay? Because that's what going to be the future, right?
Yeah,
Perfect.
and
So Jason,
also
yeah.
Sorry, just one last thing. Like also the even though company are not building features, their AI, the large language model also provide very easy way for you to improve the customer onboarding and the conversion as well. Like you mentioned, you already try
Mm.
to build a chatbot that can bring all this knowledge back, but uh, I know almost like 50% of AI of the startup I know they start adopting AI as part of onboarding flow. So if you are thinking about if you are building a CRM or building a digital documents like Google Slides those type product, the experience instead of asking people to learn your product, you can just get the AI to collect the prompt from users and then create everything for them. So yeah, even you don't build the whole feature for things like that
Hmm.
could provide a lot of value too.
Yeah, definitely. I guess it has really helped us a lot. Okay, in doing pre-sales, where a lot of interaction was involved in between the customer and the agents. So this particular use case have really solved and done some automation here that customers can come and they can try to chat with chatbot. They can get the design information, and once they need something very specific information, then they can connect to agents, and agents can give a demo and try to explain them about that specific knowledge base, right? So definitely it's been a very useful thing in automating the customer support operations, and also like improvising the pre-sales operations as well, definitely. So Jason, one last question from you. You are in Australia right now. What's the one hidden secret you want our viewers to know about Australia that people don't know? Like they know that Australia is a very beautiful country, it's a cricket loving nation, right? What's the one thing you want to tell to our viewers that's something people might not know about Australia?
Oof. Uh, that's a good question. Uh, I would say that's a hard one. uh,
I usually keeps the best question at the last.
Yeah, yeah. So Australia actually, like previously, I think when people think about Australia, it's like a beautiful place, but not a lot of things going on in terms of technology, right? But things really change now. Like there are a lot of good AI, startups in Australia too. So
Mm.
uh, and here we are. Yeah, so it's definitely a good place to come and work if you are if you're
Okay.
thinking about moving.
Okay. So people can think of it as like a very good hotspot for the next Silicon Valley.
Potentially, yeah, yeah. Maybe at the down under part of of the world.
Okay. That's good. That's good to know really about that. That's something which might not people know about it, but yeah, Australia is a very good tech hub. Okay, if you're looking to you have some ideas and you want to try to build that thing and deploy it somewhere. Australia can be a very good place, and people like Jason can definitely help you if you are looking to build some AI products. Okay, so guys, do check out the YouTube channel AI Jason from Mr. Jason, and you can reach him via YouTube channel as well if you're looking to get some AI project to build upon. You should definitely watch his videos on Auto GPT, and definitely one video that I liked so much is how to make an AI girlfriend, and that's pretty amazing. Okay, so thank you, Jason, for your time. It's been a really interesting conversation on the AI and LLM. I think it will clarify a lot of doubts people may have and misconception about AI, and definitely they are going to take away a lot. Like either you are a fresher or you are a company looking to get into AI. So what is the future that holds for you? So thank you for giving all the insights, Jason. It's been a wonderful talking to you today.
Yeah, thanks so much. Thanks so much for having me. Really good to talk to you.
Sure. We'll look to have further more conversation as the things proceeds. If something new comes, okay. So we will definitely guide in future and try to have more such conversations on AI and other tech stuff.
Definitely. Sounds great.
Okay. Thank you, Jason. Have a great day. Thank you so much.
You too. Have a good day. Bye
Bye.
bye.
Bye.